Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Mike, and today I'm going to introduce a leader from the Time Top 100 Most Influential Leaders. So I was thinking, who should I introduce in um, a few weeks ago, but I just felt like no one's gonna be more qualified than me to introduce this Mr. Xi, who is the president of China. So this is my gender. Introduction, reason, background, influence, conclusion, reflection. Yeah, let's start. And why him? So first of all, he is the president of People's Republic of China, and he is a global leader. And because China is the top two economy of the world, and so every actions and behaviors and his words, ideas are also really impactful to the world, and it just makes huge impact. And he was also ranked the most powerful people in the 2018 by Forbes. So for his background, the first period of his life was Cultural Revolution. He was suffering from the denunciation rally. You can see from the first image, that is Xi Zhongxun, who is his father, Xi's father. You can see, so you can tell why Xi Jinping is also suffering from denunciation rally because of his father. So the second period of his life is college life. He attended in Tsinghua University in Beijing as a worker person soldier student, which is really difficult because in that period he was still suffering from the denunciation rally pretty much. And after the Cultural Revolution, uh, he also get he also got back to the political world. So after that, he was at the political struggle period, which Bo Xilai was eliminated, who is um, his biggest competitor back then. So after that, he was elected in the 18th National Congress as the president of China, and he is also trying to pursue his um, next presidency in the upcoming 20th National Congress. And how is he so influential? So first of all, he is ruling a 1.4 billion people country. China is the biggest market in the world and the top two economy in the world. So, like I said, um, his opinions and his words are really impactful to the rest of the world. And then the second one is the dictatorship. His policies to the minorities are really tough to the people of China, including the persecution to the minorities. And the third one is Xi Thought and Chinese Dream. These two things are always connected together to express the dream of the Chinese people, which is they always trying to improve the improvement of the general Chinese people to um, achieve achieve a success together. And the checkbook diplomacy is that um, President Xi is always trying to show his absolute power to the world, and he's just by this diplomacy tactics, he's going to show the world his power and the economy of China. The Xi era, the rise of the Xi Jinping is also meaning the rise of the left. Left meaning that is that it is so conservative for the government to just not to make any changes. But back then he was also considered really reformative person. Tough tactics and suppression to freedom and human rights, they are all really a big deal for the Chinese people. And like me, and the permanent presidency in recent years, he also changed the law to that the president of China can also pursue the permanent presidency. Like in the upcoming 20th National Congress, that is what he's trying to do. And in the conclusion, his decisions and ideas always made huge impacts, and his autocracy, and he's always against the world, because you can see the decay of democracy and his tactics that is like suppression to human rights and freedom is just is against the history. And my reflection, I believe one leader is not only just doing the bad things, so he also improved Chinese GDP. And my testimony is that so the guy on the picture is actually from my own hometown. So I feel like the majority of the people they like him a lot, but yeah, and his threat to the world. And the COVID-19 situation is also a really tough scenario for the president to deal with. He has to strike the balance from the economic growth and the public health. That is the most important thing for him to deal with. Okay. Thank you.
Right. So thank you very much. Okay, I think so. Mike, you still have about 1 minute. Maybe you could also talk about some of the important economic policies promoted by President Xi. For example, we know he's been promoting One Belt and One Road initiative, right? I mean, as a way to build the economic system which is centered in China. So I wonder if you've done any research on this policy. Maybe you also try to share with us what you think.
Um, One Belt One Road policy is one of the policies of checkbook diplomacy. So it's basically China lending money to those countries in need for the funds to uh, build their facilities like airports and ports and bridges or something like that. And China is gonna acquire their control ship after they are unavailable to pay back the money after the payback period. So it's a huge threat to the countries that is trying to do so.
I see. So thank you for the explanation. Right, again, so now I would like to invite questions and comments. Again, so you don't need to raise hands to speak. You just need to turn the mic. You can start maybe by saying, hi, Mike. This is someone, like, hi, Mike. This is William. And then we will listen to your question and comment. Okay, so please, if you are ready.
Okay. So, hello, Mike. Can you hear me? Okay, so this is Ricky speaking. So, I would like to ask, so what do you think about President Xi's next step towards the Taiwanese issue?
Sorry, could you speak it again?
I would like to ask, what do you think President Xi's next step toward the Taiwan issue?
Um, I I still can't hear the last few words. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe Ricky, you can try to repeat the last few words of your question.
Or maybe I could type it into the chat box.
I think are you asking Mike what he thinks about Xi's policy toward Taiwan? Is that what you want to ask?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Um, I think Xi's policies towards Taiwan is actually really dangerous for Taiwanese people. Because I've heard the news that this year China's gonna invade Taiwan in this fall. Uh, so the recent years policies of by Xi's government is actually makes it more intense for the the relationship between China and Taiwan, and the policies is just changing over time. But I I actually cannot realize any concrete changes about Xi's policies toward Taiwan, but they just like their attitudes towards China towards Taiwan is just becoming more tough, and like they are all really like enemies to Taiwan. So that's the thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ricky. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting, also maybe a very sensitive question for Mike to respond to. Yeah, but thank you for trying hard to respond to the question. Again, so now feel free to speak if you have any questions or comments.
Hi,
Oh,
Mike.
Hi.
I'm Emily Kim. And how do you think the Xi Jinping will do next towards the issue of Shanghai lockdown?
So you mean what did he do, or
How would he do to control the situation now in Shanghai?
but Shanghai now is not locked down thing right now.
Do you think Shanghai will be now in lockdown in the future, or like will do something, or you think that Shanghai is now in a a a calm down situation?
yeah, I feel like Shanghai is now safe, but there's still possibilities that they would be locked down in the near future, but I can't see any in the short term. But his zero COVID policy is actually really difficult to maintain in most of the cities, which are so crowded in China.
Right. So thank you, Emily, for the question. I think we still have one more question or comment. So feel free to speak.
Hi,
Hi,
Mike. This
can
is
you
Joseph.
hear me? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. Hi, Mike. I'm Joseph. I want to ask you, what do you think about the social credit system?
I think it's controversy, but for me, I feel like this is a bad policy because it's just monitoring people in any ways. But it still have its good thing because the government can judge people by his behaviors, but it's still an act that is monitoring people and their behaviors, and is easy for the government to manage in a high pleasure to people in China.
Okay, thanks.
Right. Thank you, Joseph. And I think Charlotte has one question or comment.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I want to ask, which policy do you think she do the best?
I think it is the One Belt One Road policy because in recent years you can see Taiwan is isolated from the international communities because of the One Belt One Road policy that China is in a lot of they have made a lot of friends in the international affairs. So Taiwan is like down to 4 or 5. I forgot, but it's definitely one of his most successful policies for Xi Jinping because Taiwan is just isolated. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Okay, I think we have some really interesting questions. All right, I think so. I would like to continue, but due to time constraint, I think we have to just stop here. So let's give Mike a big hand for your excellent presentation.